What's up, other goblins? Welcome back to my channel. It's Remy, and today we're going to be talking about my winter wrap up and my spring TBR. So the reason why I'm putting these both in one video is because I did not read a lot this winter. To be honest with you, like February didn't read at all, to be real. We're going to be talking about the 4 books that I read during the winter time and how I felt about them. Actually, no, it's 5 books because technically I'm reading one more that I'm going to finish before the end of the winter officially, like before this video's out. And then I'm going to tell you about my spring TBR. So let's talk about the first book that I read in winter time, which was Television for Women by Denise Brown. This was my book pick for my book club I have at work. And I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I really love this book. It's about a woman who's going through postpartum, and her husband just lost his job, and she just lost her job, and she's just kind of going through a lot of struggles mentally. I think the depression aspect of it, obviously I don't have kids, I've never been through postpartum, but I think the depression thoughts and the depression aspect of it was written very well. This is also written by a woman. I think this is such a good read, and I think anyone should read this. I do think because it is talking about like postpartum and like just some negative thoughts she's having, so I feel like women would relate to it if they've had kids, or some women would be like, disturbed by it because they have kids. It really is just up to you. Nothing bad happens to the child, just so you know. I don't really know how much time I have left because my fucking battery on my camera's gonna die. So I'm trying to get through these like as quick as I can. The next book I read in the wintertime was Thrive by Kristen Becker Ritchie. This is the 6th book. This is the 6th book in the 10-book series. I can't remember what I gave this. I think I gave this a 4 out of 5 as well. I haven't gotten a 5-star yet this year, I realized. So this is a 4 out of 5. I really like this book. I love Lily and Lo. They're my favorite. This is just like what was happening to Lily and Lo through like at the end of Addicted for Now and through Kiss the Sky and Hothouse Flower, and then a little bit after those books. So I think that's why it wasn't a 5 for me, just because when books go back through the same time period, just in somebody else's point of view, I'm not the biggest fan of it. So, but I love Lily and Lo, so this was a good story. They're my favorite characters, so I always look forward to seeing their books. And the next book that I read in the wintertime was Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This is another book club book read. I gave this a 4 out of 5. I feel like it would have been a 5 out of 5 if the ending didn't get really slow for me. The beginning of the book was like just like a steady pacing, and like it was just a lot of information, and I was so invested in Darrow and his story. But once he got to like the main like setting of the story where he was going to be at for the main majority of the book, it slowed down a lot, and instead of like going by like chunks of time, we were going day by day. Like it felt like we were going by hour, and I think that was maybe purposeful to feel the monotony of what he was going through, and like just the fear and how long he was in this place. But it was really hard for me to finish because of that. But I do want to finish the original trilogy, like Golden Sun and Morning Star, just because I am really invested in Darrow's story. I'm not really sure if I will finish the series in its entirety, but the main trilogy, I think I definitely will finish. The next book that I read in the wintertime was Alchemize. I do not have it physically. I bought it on my Kindle app, and I listened to it on Audible. It is so good. I gave that book a 4.75. The reason why that book was not a 5 stars is because I was very unsatisfied with the ending. I feel like the ending, once I got to the end, I was like, oh. Like, I just expected something else, I guess. And I was just not very satisfied with the ending. But the book in its entirety is so good. I recommend you read it. Like, I want to reread it. I want to get a physical copy. I want to reread it. I want to annotate it. I love that book. That book is so good, and it's something that will stick with me for a very long time. The book I'm currently reading that I will be finishing before the end of the winter season, the official end of the winter season, because here it is a little warm. It's been going back and forth between hot and cold, but the official end of the winter season is March 20th. It is currently March 18th, I think. So this is Accomplice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Maher. This is the 3rd book in the Assistant to the Villain series. I think it originally was going to be a trilogy, but she added a 4th book, which I don't know. I could be so lying about that. But The fourth book and last, I'm pretty sure is the last book, comes out this year, and I'm very excited. I am almost halfway through. I'm 40% through this book, and I'm loving it so far. It's classic Canon Nicole Maher. It's classic Evie and Tristan. I almost said Tavern because his last name is Mavrin. Anyway, I haven't finished it, so I haven't given it a rating yet, but I will probably give it a 5-star just because I gave the other books 5-star. If I don't give it a 5-star, I'll probably give it a 4-star just because I feel like I'm being really picky with my 5 stars this year. I'm not sure why, but, you know, it is what it is. So that is the end of our winter portion. We're going to go through my spring TBR. So I kept some things for my winter TBR. I did that on a short instead of a whole video. So if you want to watch that. But I kept some books from my winter TBR and took some away that I'm going to wait to read until like fall time and added some different ones. So let's look through these, shall we? So the ones that stayed on there was my Throne of Glass books. So I bought Throne of Glass today, and I have Assassin's Blade. I was going to read Assassin's Blade first because this is a prequel, but my friend in my book club said that I want the context of the first book, so I should read the first book and then Assassin's Blade, because what I was worried about is a lot of people say if you read this as the third book in the series or the fourth book, that it kind of slows down the momentum of the story. But I feel like maybe if I read the first one and then go back to the prequel and then go to Crown of Midnight, then it won't slow down. Like, the momentum hasn't really started yet. So, like, it won't slow down much, you know? So that's my hope for these. But this is what the plan is. And these were on my winter TBR as well. I did not have Throne of Glass at that point. I only had Assassin's Blade. So I bought Throne of Glass today. So I will be reading. That would be the next book I'm reading. And you will be getting a reading vlog with spoilers. So, yay. Another book that stayed on my spring TBR is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. Every time I say their name, I really hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, this is a part of a series as well. I think this is a YA series, but I know that it's about, like, I don't know what it's about. I'm such a liar. I don't know what it's about. But I've been wanting to read this. My cousin started it, and I really like how the chapters are structured. So I'm really excited to read this, and hopefully I get to it. This also stayed on my spring TBR, City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. This is my friend's book that I borrowed from her. So, like, years ago. Like, it's been 5 years. She stole some of my books, and I stole some of her books. And I really want to get through the books that she's given me, so that I can send them back to her. I think some of them I don't think I'm going to actually read, but there is a couple that I do want to read, so I can send them back to her. Anyway, City of Bones is the part of the Shadowhunters Chronicles that I really want to get into, so I want to start that as well. Wuthering Heights is staying on this because the movie just came out. I don't think it's going to be in theaters by the time I finish this book, but I do want to watch the movie and do, like, a book versus movie review with you guys. So Wuthering Heights is staying on there. This also stayed on my spring TBR. I Fell in Love with Hope by Lane Callie. I really want to read this. I don't know why I keep putting it off, but I do really want to read this. New things that I have added to my spring TBR that are different books. Things I'm Seeing Without You. This is also one of those books that my friend let me borrow 5 years ago. So I want to read this book. I don't know what it's about. I'm assuming it's like one of those like heartbreak romances. Like a one-sided romance. That's what I'm assuming. That's the vibe it's giving. Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I got this in a blind date with a book from The Ripped Bodice in New York. I also have a short about that if you want to see that. I have always said, I think I have said this in videos before, I do not that I don't like Ali Hazelwood because I've never read any of her books, but I have always steered away from her books, in my personal opinion. Especially now. I feel like now I've been steering away from romance almost entirely unless it's like in a fantasy or it's a part of a literary fiction or a historical fiction. It's been a little bit since I picked up just a romance book. I think when I was in my book slump, I picked up a little YA romance book that was like fast-paced to try and get me out of my book slump, and it didn't work. It was cute. It was a cute read, and I really liked it, but it didn't get me out of my book slump. So, anyway, I want to read this because I bought it, And I also kind of want to see what the hype is about, I guess. And maybe it's good. And maybe, I'll be wrong. I'll prove myself wrong, and her books are good. I know she's now doing, I guess paranormal or supernatural or, more fantasy type novels, because she has Bride, which is a werewolf romance. And, that's, a new, little series she's doing, which, honestly, good on her and switching up her vibe, because, her first 3 or 4 books were just STEM romances, to my knowledge. And I'm about to be a woman in STEM, so you know what? Maybe I'll like this. Maybe I'll like this.
STEM, women in STEM, STEM, women in STEM. I believe in women in STEM. Look at me, I'm a man and I believe in women in STEM.
Anyway, another thing added, The 3 Lives of Kate K by Kate Fagan. You know what? I give up. Anyway, this is about an author who, every time she goes on an interview show or whatever, she basically makes up lies about herself and her life, and nobody truly knows who she is and what her life is actually like. And I think she has 3 different, I think it says that she has 3 different pen names she goes by, and they all are different Kate K pseudonyms or something. I could be so wrong about that, but I think that's what I remember reading. But basically, one of her fans wants to make her, is a director or whatever, and wants to make one of her books into a movie adaptation. And one of her agreements is she wants to get to know the author, basically. So you get to find out truly who Kate K is. And this is a very short little literary fiction, and I think it's gonna be I think the themes are mainly gonna be about relationships, friendships and stuff, and pushing people away, things like that, and get down to the nitty-gritty of probably some situation she had in the past and the reason why she does not have relationships with people now. So that's going to be really exciting. I'm assuming that's what the themes are. And then the last book, not the last book, the last physical book I have that's going to be on my TBR is Kristen Hanna. The book's name is not Kristen Hanna. The author's name is Kristen Hanna. Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. And I've had this on my TBR for a little bit. I actually have been wanting to read this for a little while, and then they made a Netflix series about it. And so I was like, I really need to read this. So I bought a copy of the book, and I still haven't read it. But basically, from my knowledge, this is about 2 girls and their friendship over decades of their life. And I thought that was really interesting. And I haven't read Kristen Hanna before. I heard her books are really good. My grandma loves her books. I have a couple of her books, but I haven't read any of them. So this one is going to be the first one I read, I think. And I really want to read The Nightingale as well from her, but not in this season. I don't think I'm going to read it in this season. That might be another fall or winter read. Last book I think I want to put on my TBR. I really want to read it this season, but it really depends if I buy the book or not, is Wild Dark Shore by Caroline McCogany. That's probably not right. But basically, it is a literary fiction about a family who lives in an island, and they have to protect this seed bank from, I think that's what it is. And all I know is the book is about family dynamics and dysfunctional families, and I think they isolate themselves from the other people on the island, and I thought it would be really interesting. All right, so my camera cut me off, and it's also about to die, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Enjoy your guys' spring, and I will see you next season for my spring wrap up, but I will see you next week for my new video. So, bye guys!